Thank you for joining us as we navigate the world with your aging loved one. We are here to help family members, loved ones, and the senior living community explore this inner world of aging and senior living with helpful resources and informative interviews. We get to do this together, so join us on our journey, and this is the willGather podcast. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are so excited to be able to introduce to you Sean Mitra, who is the founder and CEO of BrioCare. I was connected with Sean and thought his solution using that smart voice technology was really applicable at a time right now. They provide that care, that companionship, and connection for seniors so they can continue to age in place. Sean, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and why you created BrioCare?
Thank you, Nicole. Thanks for having me. I think the podcast that you're putting together is really good, and I've heard several of the past episodes. I think it's a great service from your end for caregivers and for older adults. I think it's an excellent service. Yeah.
Thank you.
In terms of my background, so I spent about 22, 23 years in the tech sector, mostly sales, business management. We started early on with most of the traditional tech type projects, etc. And then the last 6 or 7 years, did a lot of digital technology using mobile apps, chatbots, and things like that. And so as I was doing that, caregiving and senior challenges have always been top of mind for me.
Mm-hmm.
Two reasons. One is about 10 years back, my mom, she was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Mm.
And I was a caregiver, and I had all my day-to-day work pressure, etc. And from office over an extended period of time, I had to call her, even though we had somebody who would come periodically to help her out, but still, being her son, and she was home alone. My dad had passed away before that. So I had that experience, and I was always thinking that, hey, is there a better way instead of just sending text and emails and things like that that can help seniors who are living by themselves in their home?
Right.
So that's one. And second was about 2 years back, I read a book called Being Mortal. This is by Dr. Gawande. He's a professor at Harvard. And he talks a lot about, how older adults feel isolated and lonely in the later years.
Mm-hmm.
So given my digital tech background, I felt that, hey, is there a way we can put a solution together where we can leverage, some of the newer digital tech, something like a mobile app combined with, the smart Alexa type speakers, and really help both the caregivers so that we can give a little more peace of mind to our family caregivers, and also for seniors or older adults who are aging by themselves, how can we make life a lot more exciting, interesting, so that they can stay engaged through the day.
Absolutely.
So that really led to BrioCare, which is really, we are redefining elderly care and aging in place using a combination of mobile and smart voice technology.
Mm-hmm. And it's so wonderful and peace of mind for family members to be able to have another avenue to communicate, to touch base, to offer those reminders that can be so challenging for them. Like you said, if you are busy throughout the day and don't have the ability to do that this could be in place to help them age really safely.
Absolutely. So, our focus is twofold when it comes to peace of mind for the caregivers. One is you can remotely schedule a lot of messages, and these messages or instruction, care routines, these are not just going as text and emails. That's the way we are doing most of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we felt that voice is a great interface. So the way we have designed the solution for the senior, all the care routines, instructions, everything, he or she will hear it from the Alexa smart speaker. And then towards the end of the day, we ask 6 or 7 questions, and it's all voice. So senior again will respond about her daily. We call it a daily report. It's basically about some safety questions that we have, and how her day was, whether everything is fine, her appetite, this, that, and other. And the senior just have to speak those answers, and then we convert that as an email, and it goes back to the family caregiver. He or she could be anywhere in the country, and they get this report. So I think we try to do both ways. One is, the family caregivers, they can make sure there are personal notes and everything that the seniors get to hear. And then towards the end of the day, we have the daily report, which captures the feedback from the seniors, and it gets back to the family caregiver.
Yeah, that's great to have those measurable outcomes as well.
Absolutely.
So, looking at your team and how you put that together, I thought it was so wonderful to see how diverse that group was and their different backgrounds and how you put that team together. Could you tell us a little bit about that and a little bit about the background of your team so that you created this comprehensive network to be able to provide the value with Brio Care?
Sure. And I'm really glad that you made that observation looking at our website. Yes, so there is a lot of thought, and of course, some of our advisors have helped to make sure that we put the right team together. So clearly, my background is strategy, business, sales, that type of thing, and understanding of digital technologies. Okay, so I bring that experience. Then we have Brittany. She has a master's in public health, and she really drives a lot of our cardiovascular type efforts and offerings. So we have daily care routines for diabetes and hypertension folks. So those two are being driven by her because she has a public health background. She also contributes quite a bit on the design that we have, how to reduce loneliness for seniors. Then we have Hirsch. He's a neuroscience graduate. His background is neuroscience. So the two focus areas for us are cardiovascular health and brain health. So because he's graduated from Washington University in St. Louis, and he has a strong neuroscience background, and he's always been very fascinated with aging, and he is involved with various hospices. He also has a nonprofit company that actually recruits college students, and I think he's across like 20-25 universities now.
Wow.
So that they can visit older people in hospices and assisted living. So that's just a nonprofit that he runs. And he drives a lot of our care routines for dementia, early dementia, brain health, and things like that. Yeah,
that's wonderful.
And then we have Rajiv, who is our CTO, and he comes with a strong healthcare background. Spent a lot of years in the Boston area with various healthcare type companies, but his forte is artificial intelligence and mobile app user experience. So he brings in the whole, we wanted to always make sure that whether it's our user experience on the mobile app or on the smart speaker, it should be very intuitive, it should be very easy to use. So that's where he plays a significant role in those designs. And also, as we move more and more towards leveraging AI, we will be able to really use a lot of his past knowledge on analytics and AI. And then we, not to forget, we have two advisors. Anthony Cirillo is he's a leader in the country for a lot of caregiving type initiatives. So he advises us, and on especially to make sure how we bring in the family caregiver's perspective as we design the solution, as we're rolling out new features. And Carol, she actually runs a Facebook group called Elder Orphans, and these are all solo agers, seniors who are above the age of 65, of course, but then they're all solo agers. So she has a group, I think 10,000 members. She really understands the day-to-day challenges and the thought process of solo aging. And so she brings in a lot of those elements for us to be able to make sure we address those through our solution.
It's really that full picture because you're bringing in the family member perspective, the seniors themselves, the technology, the AI, and I think that's what makes it so unique is really tying it all together. So I applaud you in that to be able to bring that full picture. For our listeners, what is voice AI and why do you think it's relevant for the senior care industry?
Sure. I think that's a very good question. So voice AI, it's a new evolving technology. We all know about the smart speakers like Alexa and Google Home, and it's still in its early cycle, early stage of development.
Mm-hmm.
But so anything AI is basically you use the data to understand the customer better, and then instead of always, you move from where the customer is asking for something to you start suggesting a few things based on their knowledge and based on their past, usage track record.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way we get set up, and ours is more of a voice-first platform. So one is, what we are offering directly today, but then in future, we are in discussions with some home care companies and some insurance companies where we'll be able to do more focused interventions. So if there's a certain number of people in the health plan who are, let's say, early diabetes, pre-diabetes, or early dementia, and you want them to have a certain daily lifestyle, certain feedback you want periodically, maybe also, gather some data from some smart health devices. So all of those things we can roll in slowly, and you move more and more into a proactive to a prescriptive type of model because you will have enough data on the back end to understand what's going on and suggest interventions both to improve, engagement, connection, activity, and health of the older population.
That's so important. You mentioned that you're possibly partnering with home care agencies and senior living facilities. It is also a neat platform because it allows people to age in place. How does it do that?
Our focus is three market segments. One clearly is the family caregivers who have older adults or family, parents, grandparents who are living by themselves. Now, the way, if you think about it, what we do is our focus is how can we make sure that older adults stay active through the day, stay engaged, keep their brain sharp through activity, and also depending on what their interests are. So we offer various companionship choices. So things like, music, trivia, memory games, spiritual talk, podcasts, and we allow either the family caregiver or the senior, if they're comfortable using a mobile app, they can choose based on what type of music they like or, what's their preference for podcasts or memory games, etc. So if you look at what we do is through the day, there is a care routine, so that will, prompt her to do various things. And it's up to the senior whether they do it every time, but at least there is something that prompts them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever they feel a little bored or they have some time, they can, play games or any of these type of companionship. So we believe that by bringing in all the companionship side, the caregiving piece, and then also the daily report, on the safety, well-being. We also have, whenever you talk, when you say, Alexa, start Brio Care, you will hear some health tips. Some of these tips are on fall prevention, how do you avoid telemarketing scams, other health and nutrition tips. And the idea there is that by repeating some of these tips, and we rotate the tips, it will reinforce these positive messages to the person who is living by himself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at all these 4 or 5 components, it gives what should I say, like it keeps them active and engaged through the day with activities of their own choice. And that's why we call our solution Brio Care. Brio, by the way, in Italian means life. So like vivo,
Mm-hmm.
vivo Brio.
Mm-hmm.
So our focus is how can we bring the world to seniors' life and life to seniors' world.
Very life-giving.
Yes, absolutely. I think anything that we can do to continue to provide more and more life energy will definitely help older adults age in place. And 93% of them, they do not actually want to move into, you know, senior facilities. They would like to continue to age in place as long as possible in their own homes. And we really help them do that.
You really do. And the statistics back that up as well. You mentioned helping seniors lead a more active and healthy lifestyle, fighting that social isolation and the loneliness that's such a big challenge. What does that daily routine look like that can aid in that active lifestyle, the solution to addressing that loneliness? Walk us through a little bit. What would a daily routine look like?
Sure. So I think there are 3 components, what we call as the 3C focus from our side, which are care, companionship, and connection. So the care piece is a daily consistent routine. There are enough research that has been done on physical health and brain health that says that if you can maintain a daily routine, it's really good, and especially for brain health. Okay, so it's not okay just to do exercise any time of the day. There are certain times when you should do, and you should follow a regular routine. So through our care routines, what we have are a bunch of, let's say, about 20 to 25 reminders, and you can add, modify, depending on your preferences, your choices, and your unique situation. Uh, so you can schedule, whether prompts to play a memory game or for aerobics or going for a walk, staying hydrated. So all of these type of things are part of the daily care routine, which is the care component. Then, as I talked about the companionship, we offer lots and lots of choices. Now, today in Alexa, there are like 120,000 different choices that you have. Now, for any person, it's very, very difficult to find what those choices are and how to use them.
It
So what
is.
we have done is, we have gone through evaluating, looking at all these different things and bucketed them in 6 categories. And within that, we have chosen the ones that will make lot of sense to older adults. And we give them about 15 choices in each of these, 10 to 15 choices in each of these categories. And you can choose any 3. You can always modify. Okay. So again, it's so you can learn a new language, you can play some memory game, you can listen to religious, teachings, you can relax while listening to meditation music. There are very important podcasts which are available, TEDx, Science of Happiness, and very soon, Nicole will make sure your podcast is also available through our solution.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Sure. So that's the second piece, which is companionship. Connection, which is the big focus on the social isolation piece. Now, this is where what we have right now, and I'll talk to you about how we are adding more and more towards helping reduce social isolation. Right now, what we have is, so every older adult would have extended family. If you take kids and grandkids and cousins and this and that, anywhere between 40 to 60 family members. And there is a lot going on. There could be birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, other important dates, some family events. So, you can just go ahead and put this on the mobile app one time, and the Alexa would actually remind you that, hey, let's say it's your birthday today, Nicole. So it will actually remind your, mom or your grandparent that, hey, it's Nicole's birthday. It'll be great if you can, wish her And if she says, oh, okay, yeah, so it'll ask you, hey, would you like to wish Nicole? All that the senior has to say yes, and then they just say, hey, just call Nicole, right? So without even, looking at your cell phone and trying to find the number, this, that, and other, it makes it so much easier for you to connect and speak. So this is how we believe, we can definitely enhance social connection. So this is the piece within the family. What we are also doing is we are adding on the senior profile, what your interests and hobbies are as a senior, and then we'll see how many in the same zip code maybe have, similar interests and groups, and then we'll connect them and facilitate some sort of a group activity that they can do either locally, or sometimes it could be some, I don't know, online games and things like that. That can be, we don't have to do necessarily in the geography. So just to summarize, our focus is 3C: care, companionship, and connection. And the connection piece is all about social connections.
How wonderful that it really takes all of that information and you've narrowed it down to really be such a valuable resource for the seniors based on whether it's their interest or for that population, because otherwise it can be so overwhelming. And I think too, connecting the family with their loved one, I think that is, I have family members and relatives, and I have a hard time keeping track of all of those dates. So for them to be able to have that in place and offer those happy birthdays and reminders to that is really helpful. And it keeps them connected. They're not missing out.
Yeah, and just to add to that, one more feature that we're working on right now is we will give you a choice. So let's say, you have a close cousin versus you have a distant cousin or whatever, right? And you can we'll say, hey, how frequently would you like to, maybe connect with them, right? Once every 3 months, once every 6 months or whatever. So this is in addition to a birthday or some event where Alexa will automatically remind you that, hey, it's been a while since you have spoken with, your cousin Jamie, let's say, or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it will prompt you. So again, I think the more we help older adults connect socially with friends and family, it really does a lot of good to everybody.
It really does. One thing that connected me to your story was that you really offer a technology platform that can be used with equipment and technology that people already have and are familiar with. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what platform that you use for your programs?
Absolutely. So once again, great observation, Nicole. So I think this is something we were very clear right from the beginning. There are some products out there that use proprietary hardware, speakers, or other types of devices. We were very clear. We wanted to go with standard speakers which are already available in the market. So the current version of our solution works on Amazon Alexa speakers. So it could be, any of the Echo devices, and even like the Facebook portal that has Alexa in it. And I think the Fitbit, some of their options, they have Alexa. So any device that has Alexa, whether it's from Amazon or Facebook or anybody else, you will be able to use Brio Care on that.
Mm.
Also, the framework and the technology that we have used will allow us to extend with some effort into the Google ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
So as part of our further launch, we will extend the same functionality to Google Home, Google Hub, so the whole series of Google devices. One of the things when we were doing the beta testing and we were interacting with seniors and older adults, what we realized was we saw a lot more engagement when they were actually using Echo Show, which is the new set of products from Amazon, and they're fairly reasonable now. I think you can get one for about $65, $70 compared to the Echo Dot, which is like $50 or $45. You can get one of these that has the video also. So what that does is, and we found that as we were testing our software and our solution, because it uses three of your senses. So not only you hear, but you can also see some video, and then you can also touch the screen. So whenever we use multiple senses to interact, it's a lot more engaging. So that is one of the reasons why we are trying to promote Brio Care more and more with the Echo Show, which is the video version of Echo devices.
That's great. And especially, we are in a time in our history where we are quarantined for some of us in our homes and not having the ability to see our loved one face to face. So to be able to have that ability with the video, that's so important. And that helps really in that social isolation and fighting that. So that's great.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point, especially for social connection instead of just using your voice to talk. I mean, here you can actually see the family member or, caregiver that you're interacting with. So it makes it a lot more engaging and pleasing. Yes, absolutely. And I think at those price points, it does make sense to use the video version and get the full benefit of actually seeing when you're interacting. Yes.
We touched on how family members can find that peace of mind and help fight that loneliness, but also another really important issue is saving money for seniors. Can you explain a little bit more how your platform helps people do that?
Absolutely. I think that's a great point, and it's something that I definitely want to address. So right from the beginning, as we were designing the solution, even though we are using some of the new technologies and trying to do so much, right? Care, companionship, and connection. We wanted to make sure it's something which is extremely affordable, and also it should help reduce some of the other costs that a senior might be incurring. So what we found was because of isolation and loneliness, a lot of times older adults might be calling for home care or other type of things. And so typically a home care, I mean, before you go into a senior facility, you're still looking at monthly you might be spending anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000, okay, depending on how many hours you're using. And if you end up moving into an independent living or an assisted living, the numbers really, really increase. So from our standpoint, we have priced the standard product at only $15 a month. And the introductory offer, which is on for now, is only $10 a month. Okay? And the case we are making is that, hey, if you stay active, healthy, staying engaged, keeping connected with your family and friends, okay, all of this will not only help you stay longer and age in place where you are, it will cut down on some of your home care costs. And even if you can delay the move into a senior facility and some of the other costs that you incur, which are in thousands, I think it's really worth spending that $100, $150 a year at this stage. So I think not only it's extremely affordable, it's something very valuable. And the way I see it personally is that even if, let's say today you might feel that, hey, yeah, it's a good solution, maybe we have it, maybe we don't have it, but I think I would highly recommend to get started, because what it'll do is it'll form a habit, and then as the older adult ages and a need for a solution like this becomes more obvious, you would already have a nice habit and something like this is already in place. And, this will allow, the peace of mind to the caregivers and also a healthy and active independent living for the seniors so they can continue to age in place instead of moving into a senior facility.
Right. And really being proactive instead of reactive and needing to, make last minute decisions that are frustrating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just by being proactive, you're going to save thousands of dollars that you might end up incurring, and you can avoid those costs.
So part of, my passion behind starting this podcast was to be able to tell the stories of people that are doing really good work and have a heart for people in this industry and seniors. And it was so fun for us to connect and have some really great conversation. And a part of that is I love to, give you the place to share any success stories that you have with feedback that you've gotten about Brio Care and working with seniors, and any words of wisdom or encouragement that you can pass along. Would love to hear it.
Sure. So one of our customers in Texas here, her mom has early dementia, but her mom likes to cook, and she's at work. So every day before having Brio Care, she would call her mom around 11. That's when her mom usually starts cooking, and remind her that, hey, mom, I know I love you. I know you love cooking and you're about to start, but make sure you switch off the gas after you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And then again at around 12 or so, she will call her mom to make sure she has switched off the gas, just because she knows that sometimes her mom will forget.
Right.
Okay? So in that case, now that she has Brio Care, she tells me that she has programmed, and all of our reminders, it says twice. Okay, so her message with her love note plays at 11 and then again at 12. So this is just a small piece which shows how one of our customers is using it with with her mom who has early dementia.
Yeah.
Something else that I would like to share. I know one customer really has made sure that her dad plays more frequently the games and the trivia that we have. And also, I think he's trying to make sure that his dad always wants to learn a new language. So we provide Rosetta Stone also as part of our companionship package. So he's using some of these, memory games and trivia to play frequently, but then also trying to learn a new language.
He's really staying engaged and a lifelong learner. That's impressive.
Sure.
It really is. So, Sean, recently you were recognized by AARP Innovation Labs, which is so wonderful. It just really speaks to Brio Care and what you have to offer to people. Tell us about that.
So yes, yeah, I think there are a few recognitions that has happened to us. One is in 2019, AARP Innovation Labs, they ran a contest and they were looking for new startups or startups that are using voice technology and putting the base framework with new type of solution that can help seniors reduce isolation, loneliness, and they can continue to age in place. So yes, they selected 4 companies, and we all were invited to the National Aging Conference in New Orleans last year at the Boomer Summit, and that's where we presented. So that was a very nice recognition that we got from AARP Innovation Labs. In addition to that, we have also been selected by 2 leading healthcare accelerators, Accelerate Health in Louisville, Kentucky, and very recently, as of last week, by Mass Challenge in Austin, Texas.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Well, we will be linking to how people can find you. It's at briocare.us is your website, and we will provide all that information for people when they listen to the podcast so that they can contact you with questions and be able to reach out and find out some more information. Sean, thank you so much for talking with us today, for sharing your insight and your wisdom and your heart for really wanting to create a space for people to age in home and be socially engaged and really just have that positive life as they age. So thank you so much. We appreciate your time and all of your energy and efforts to bring this technology to people.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for the interview. Yes, our website is www.briocare.us. I would also recommend your listeners to follow us on Facebook because Facebook and Instagram, we have a lot of health tips and different types of useful information for seniors that pretty much every other day we share through our Facebook and Instagram page. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you, Sean. It was an honor and a privilege, and we are looking forward to keeping in touch. So all the best to you.
Thank you, and keep up the good work that you're doing.
Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed our episode, please subscribe and give us 5 stars. In all honesty, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening to our episode.